Mikel, I think you told TV, you said that there hasn't been a better team in the competition than Arsenal this season. So do you think the best team lost this time?
I think so, yeah. Especially for 160 minutes. I'm saying that, and they are saying that because they just told me that.
Who did? The PSG bench?
Yeah.
Those were the words murmured like an irritant as Mikel Arteta addressed the media following Arsenal's Champions League exit. He was referring to Arsenal's dominance in the staff. Arsenal may not have progressed, but they definitely and undeniably outperformed PSG in several key areas. Arteta seemed convinced that whatever unfolded on the pitch, the 3-1 aggregate loss to PSG, was an unjust twist of fate, that his team had won on the terms that, in his eyes, defined football. The irony: it wasn't the first time he made such a bold declaration. You might forgive him for sounding slightly bitter or even petty, but don't be surprised. This has been the recurring narrative for every game Arsenal failed to win over the past 4 seasons. Invoking statistics, numbers, and occasionally even the weight of a cup tournament's ball, Arteta attempts to paint the chaos his team navigates. He presents himself as a man obsessively attuned to the minute, those infinitesimal details that can tilt the balance of a game. As became apparent this season, Arteta views football through a scientific lens, where the game is about maximizing probabilities.
There are many factors. You need that to go in your way, in that decision, in that clinical moment. The ball goes to the post, out, in. That's the fine margin. So I think what we have tried to do is to amplify the margins. The bigger the margins are, even if those things happen, then it will be very difficult for the opposition.
With that in mind, those duels, those XG stats, it's fair to ask, why has Arsenal failed to win 10 games this season after taking the lead? Why have they committed 9 defensive errors, directly leading to goals, the 4th worst tally in the league? Or conceded 12 goals after the 80th minute? You see, stats are a double-edged sword. For every number summoned to excuse failure, another emerges to justify the outcome. You can dissect every Arteta explanation with a counterpoint that tells the opposite story. We knew from the beginning of the season that our squad was super short. Being super short, we had some players with a high probability of getting injured. Perhaps squad depth was indeed an issue. Arsenal lacked high-quality bench options to shift the tide of games, while key players were overused, leading to injuries, especially in attack. And Arteta admitted so. But this is as much of an acknowledgement of responsibility as an admission. And one that begs further questions. Why did Arteta spend nearly 50 million on a 6th choice centre-back when he already had 2 makeshift alternatives? Or £27 million on a 4th defensive midfielder when Odegaard remained the club's only natural number 10? The attacking third and striker roles were glaring priorities, ignored for 3 seasons. To worsen the scene, Arsenal sold Nketiah and Smith Rowe without securing replacements. The excuse: the club would only sign the right players. Yet they sanctioned a loan deal for an out-of-form Raheem Sterling. The aftermath: Arsenal missed 42 big chances, with Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz responsible for nearly half. Decisions have consequences, and they must be accounted for. You might excuse the injury crisis or the lack of elite strikers on the market, factors beyond control. But what justifies playing with 10 men in 6 games?
For sure, and having to play for the 6th time in the season with 10 men. So,
as if fate had cruelly conspired against them. But the wild lunge that earned Mikel Merino a 2nd yellow card was as clear-cut a booking as you'll ever see. Arsenal have suffered from a lack of discipline. Their 6 red cards are the most in the league, double that of all but 2 teams. Add that to the 72 yellow cards, the 3rd highest tally in England. Yes, the officiating has been dreadful across the board and every team suffered as a result. But discipline is part of those fine margins Arteta so often speaks about. Failing to address it is a managerial oversight. A team celebrated for its defensive solidarity, managed just 13 clean sheets in 38 league games, fewer than both Liverpool and a woeful Man City side. And once again, Arsenal's 9 defensive errors leading to goals paint a damning picture. We can go on and on about these contradictions in Arteta's number-based reasoning, but at the end of the day, only one number matters: the scoreline. And in every pivotal moment over the past 3 seasons, draws at Anfield and the London Stadium in 2023, the 4-1 humiliation at the Etihad, the 2-0 loss to Aston Villa, the Bayern Munich elimination, and countless other slip-ups, Arsenal have failed to get over the line. There's always been something missing, something intangible. Successful teams endure adversity. They get it done. Arsenal don't. They're not ruthless in front of goal, a direct consequence of their refusal to sign a clinical striker. They boast the best defense in the league, yet concede cheap goals. That defeat to PSG was textbook. 3 early chances squandered, followed by 4 clear openings gifted to PSG, the third of which was taken. That's the difference between contenders and champions. Chelsea, by contrast, lost the stats battle, but demolished PSG 3-0 in the Club World Cup final. And that's the only stat that matters at full time. And Arteta knows this.
I'm watching it back and watching all the stats. Obviously, we have the best stats and the best, but it's not about the winning probability or what you merit. Is actually making it happen and making it count.
Football isn't just about numbers, it's about execution. Every metric fades next to the scoreboard. Maybe Arteta tries to control too much. Maybe he struggles with the chaos that defines football. And maybe, just maybe, he's becoming like those Arsenal fans online, caught in the comfort of data, blind to the result. Make no mistake, the revolution Arteta has led is historic. He's built a side that went from hopefuls and top 4 dreamers to genuine contenders in every competition. His place in Arsenal's story is cemented. But for all the progress, the club has failed to win a single major trophy in 5 seasons. In football, the only success that truly counts is silverware, and Arteta has fallen short. Eventually, every manager reaches a point where they've taken the project as far as they can, not because they failed, but because taking risks undoing what they've built. Gareth Southgate changed England's football culture from its root up. The revolution at St. George Park is truly generation-defining. He took England to a final for the first time since 1966, a World Cup semis, and a first 2 Euros final in history. But he knew that Euro 2024 was his final chance. He rolled the dice, brought fresh talent, but just fell short. And so he stepped down, passing the baton to perhaps one that could cross the line. Not as a failure, but as England's most impactful manager since Sir Alf Ramsey. Arteta is at the same threshold. He's shaped the squad in his image. Now he has one summer, one final window to solve the puzzle that has haunted him for years, to bring in the striker, the winger, the midfielder Arsenal have so desperately needed. This is his final reckoning. Winning matrices should only ever be the means. Winning matches is the goal, and winning trophies is the ultimate measure of success. After 6 seasons, Arsenal must finally cross that line.